Hi, I'm Aline, and I help people open their mind and heart. So things are just not working out, huh? I feel you. We're going to talk about that. But most importantly, today we're going to go over how to let your soul show you the way and show you all that you can be. Let's dive in. So let's have a little chit chat about things that are just not working out right now. Sometimes life throws you curveballs and you went through a certain path, you studied something, kept on getting all these obstacles along the way. It also can be a relationship. You've been with this person for X amount of years and you've been so invested and you spent so much time, money, and energy into that thing, kind of on this track of just doing one thing or thinking this track that we're supposed to be on, and we don't even look like sideways. It's like you're like a horse with the blinds, and you don't really see like side to side as much. Maybe you peek a little bit, you're like, what if. I can tell you a little bit about me. Switched careers multiple times and feel like I'm on a verge of shifting gears or adding more layers. I don't think there's a shame in that. And I feel like some people are very much multifaceted where they have the option to do multiple things. The three signs when things are just not working out are: number one, something is missing. You just feel like you've probably achieved this milestone that you set yourself, whether it is finishing this degree, getting this job, X amount of money, being in this certain relationship, moving to this town, it doesn't matter, this award. And then you just feel like something is missing. And sometimes people will say, well, that's natural. Once you achieve something, then you're always kind of hungry to the next thing, which is true, of course. However, sometimes you can feel like you are still fulfilled in a sense. You're just kind of growing in that field. But sometimes you feel like you start doubting and you start feeling like, is this it? Is this all that is? That I've just spent like 4 years or 5 years. I literally moved to a different country and studied a field that I still like and I still love, but I don't know if that's what I'm meant to be doing all my life. And when I started working, I had this little doubt in me. And I think that's very natural to have. And we keep on searching and searching, and you just feel like something is missing just a little bit. It's just this thing, and you start to be more aware of it and more attuned to that. Listen to it. Sign number two is plain and simple: your soul can't take it. No other way to say it. And if you know, you know. Your soul is screaming. It's screaming at you, and it will show it to you in all the ways possible, whether it is mental health, it could be depression, it could be relationships, it could be hurdles, financial things that happen to you, physical things. Literally, your soul is giving you signs and these little red flags of, I just can't do this, I can't sit and do this. And sometimes we ignore it, unfortunately, and it happens again. But it's our job to be aware of it and take note of it and try to make the adjustments. And if you don't, unfortunately, the universe will do it for you. Sign number three, when things don't work out, is you temporarily run away. You escape from the problem. You always try to find a different rush of dopamine, whether it is partying, being with certain people, substances, even toxic relationships, just to kind of feel that rush and run away from what negative thing you are experiencing in your life that is probably not meant for you. Square one, zero, nada, nothing. You think that you're just, back to zero. So you're like, now what? Blank canvas, clean slate. Yeah, sure, true. That's amazing. We have that. But we're never coming from a clean slate completely. We always have our past, and all these accumulation of experiences that we have are important because they guide us to our next phase, to our next chapter. You will always go back and think about your life, even as a child or as a teen, or even in your early 20s, and still think, wait, I used to do this. I used to really like doing this certain thing. Like I, for an example, used to make videos when I was 16 or 17 and share them with my family and edit them and even, win a certain award in my high school. And then here I am now filming videos again. Isn't that like a clue? Sure. Isn't that a clue? I used to also do debate and, do Model United Nations and stuff like that and talk. Always look back and see how your past experiences have served you all along to this very moment, and then to the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. So don't scrap away and think you need to delete everything you've been through, because it is always there to help you move forward. So what is the law of pure potentiality? I was reading Deepak Chopra's The 7 Laws of Success, and it talks about how we are all basically connected and have this infinite field of creativity, that we start noticing how the self and our true spirit, our true self, our true soul is connected to this potential of all that we can be, or all your soul can be. And you start understanding how you can be a lot of different things that you did not think you could be before, because your soul is connected to that infinite field of creativity and imagination. And your soul basically is beneath no one, and it is not also superior to anyone, because we're all these selves. And then we have the ego, your self-image, your mask of all these things you're attached to, in a sense, like your avatar. And you understand that this ego-based power of attaining certain things just because the ego wants it. Sometimes it does not connect to the self-power, how it is more from the soul, from a deeper place, and from a more connected place. We are all pure consciousness. We're all pure creativity. We're all these selves together, and it comes back to the law of unity. And then you notice you can be an actress, you can be a singer, you can be a teacher, you can be a mechanic, you can be a developer, you can be a designer, you can be everything and anything you want all at once. You can be anything. That's the key. And it also connects to the crown chakra, the chakra that's above your head, this purple light, and this kind of connectedness to everything, to this pure field of the self. The self-referral is your own reference to your own self and your own spirit. You become more and more in tune with yourself and start peeling out the layers of what your soul actually really, really wants from a deeper place. And there is also object referral. So we have the self-referral versus the object referral. The object referral is attuned to the ego mask, or the social image of the ego, and is always adhering to external influences, versus the self-referral that is starting to refer more and more from the self, from within. And we can't really see it. It's not something that's like external to everything around us. It's hard to kind of grasp, but it is something that comes within. And the more and more you are in tune with that, the more and more you can bring things outside that you don't really know where they come from. because they don't come from here, probably. The ego-based power can serve itself for a certain amount of time because that status, that money, that title, that job, that position holds itself and serves itself for a certain amount of, reference because it is ego-based. But when you come from the self-based power, it is a little bit infinite. Not a little bit, but pretty much infinite, because it is deeper, and you start to understand how all these titles and all these external things are fleeting. They basically hold out a certain role that they play for you or your avatar or for other people for a certain amount of time, and then it's done, it's gone. And sometimes we get attached to those roles and attached to those roles or characters. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. There's nothing wrong with that, but also you have to be aware that sometimes these roles come from the ego because you studied something, because someone told you you're good at that. But when you start living and being more attuned to your self-power, you unlock something else and you live from a different level of power that is more connected to your soul and your spirit, and a potential of creativity that is probably related to the expression of your soul and your true calling or your purpose or your most authentic expression. Another thing is you have that ability to fulfill any dream that you want because of that pure potentiality. It is confusing because you suddenly notice how talented and amazing and soulful you are, and you're not used to that. You're not used to all of these options kind of opening up to you. And it takes that strength and that connectedness with self to understand how truly magical and capable you are. So if there is one thing that you should probably remember from this whole pure potentiality concept, is how you start living the true nature of your soul and of your being. And that will basically open different doors for you because you are more connected into this part of self that maybe before was hidden from you, probably for a reason, because maybe it was supposed to be hidden because you were meant to accomplish certain tasks in your life, degrees, gain certain knowledge, be in certain countries, meet certain people, so you could have X amount of relationships and experiences, learn different lessons, attain different amounts of money, and then suddenly, boom, you start to peel that other layer of yourself that comes from a more natural state of being that is connected to your soul. So here are 5 ways your soul will show you a new way. Sometimes it will be a little bit hidden, and it's on you to discover that because of how infinite your soul is, and maybe your soul can do multiple things or in multiple avenues in a sense. Number 1, stillness. I know you're probably telling me, don't tell me to meditate. I'm not going to tell you to meditate. It's mostly just going within, and tuning out the world and feeling your soul, feeling your spirit. And sometimes all you have to do is just shut out everything else. Shut out what your mom has to say and what your friends are telling you to do. I respect those things. It's just you need to go in. Sometimes things will just appear and emerge. You will start reflecting on your life and on your childhood as well. With solitude, you will find different thoughts in your mind, different images in your mind. It could be in songs, it could be in something that you read. You need to let your soul be able to go in because, and that is very important, because when you go in, you are able to imagine. As you are more attuned to your true self in solitude as well, you will probably receive new creative thoughts and new ideas and new things. It could be this rush of like, oh my God, I need to talk about this. Or what if this and this happened? Or what if this innovation would happen in the world? And you start basically being more and more in relationship and in tune with your true self. It's really hard to do when you are all the time having your energy scattered outside when you're with other people and basically maintaining other people's energy or adhering to others and being consumed of what other people expect and want you to do. I'm not telling you to kind of live under a rock, but it is easier to be with others once you've gone in, and then you're able to kind of find that balance of finding and getting inspiration from others versus tuning into yourself. And pay attention to the type of ideas that you get, the type of images and creative thoughts you get. It is very essential because, again, like we mentioned in the beginning, this is all coming down from this infinite field of potentiality and creativity. Sign number 2 is attention. Your attention is your most important asset that you have. It is in direct relation to time. So pay attention to what you are paying attention to. Where is your mind going? Why are you so into this artist? I was listening to this artist and watching her videos for a certain reason. It really resonated with me. Or this type of, content that you're consuming, or this poem or this book that you picked up. I was at the airport actually, and I was hovering around magazines, which is kind of, very old school. And I hovered around this magazine with this woman kind of in the center, and I just picked it up, and I was very much drawn to pick that up. So you start to become more and more intuitive in a sense, and you notice how you are drawn to certain things, to certain people, and pay attention to how that makes you feel. Because sometimes these new things that normally you would be like, no, I don't have time for that. I need to see my friend. I need to go to the gym. I need to do my job. I need to do this. I need to pay the bills. Totally respect that. But sometimes you are able to draw in new things into your life. And that's when your soul is starting to show you, hey, here's a clue here. Here's a clue there. You're drawn to that? Good. We want you to be drawn to that. Maybe you were meant to do that. Maybe you were meant to become that, that person in that magazine. It said like wellness entrepreneur. I don't know why. I didn't even know what that meant. I just picked that up. So put yourself basically in those places of randomness, of being able to pick things and be drawn to things. Sign number 3 is signs and synchronicities. That could be a whole other video, but for those that you are probably following along, you are probably attuned to that or aware of this concept. And sometimes when you have a thought, you will get this internal and external a sign from the universe of this kind of confirmation. You are thinking a thought during the day, and then later in the day, you get a sign. It could be on a t-shirt, it could be on a poster, on a sign on the street, someone that tells you something. When two things or a few things basically kind of collide together in a very unexpected way. I'll give you an example. I was basically just thinking about something, and I was looking on the menu and sitting with someone at a bar, and I saw a T-shirt that said New York, and literally the person that was sitting with me had the menu in front of them, and we're picking cocktails, and the cocktails, there was also New York, and literally at the same time I was looking at the girl that was sitting with, the New York t-shirt. Literally my friend was like, oh, you want the New York cocktail? So stuff like that. That's just a little example. Sign number 4 is people and actions. You start throwing out those little seeds, just like you're in a lake and you're throwing little pebbles, or you're in a store and you're trying out different clothing. So you're kind of choosing things, very, very trying new things. You're not used to that. And you find yourself all of a sudden kind of very, very much led, or automatically you text someone that you know, and you're like, oh, do you know this and that? Or you start talking about the area that you're interested in. And then you ask them, do you know someone that can help me with that? Who can mentor me? Do you have a connection to that job, to that area? Find yourself walking, it's just like a baby. Like a baby is getting up one foot and then the other, with their arms kind of lifting the baby up, using a table kind of to just the coffee table to kind of get up, and then they fall. Start walking towards this new path. It could be multiple, because you're just testing it out right now, and you're basically testing what resonates and what makes you feel good. And you'll be surprised that even though what you've been brainwashed and educated to think that you're not meant to go that route, you suddenly find yourself very much lit up, all this energy out of nowhere. And you're like, wow, why didn't I do this before? Why didn't I call that person or try and taking a leap of faith on that hobby that I've always been very much dabbling? And I don't need to be a master or a pro, and I can just, talk to someone. And you'll be surprised that some people would just be happy that you call them. Sign number 5 is new energy and dismantling old beliefs. So slowly, you basically feel more energized than ever before. You feel like, I'm walking down the street and I'm just having fun. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing my workout. I'm meeting this new person, this new business meeting, all these new things. And you just feel more energized. Even if you are just with your family or with your friends, you feel more in flow. I'll tell you why. It's very simple. Because your soul is getting what it wants, and it is starting to recognize itself, how magical and powerful it is, and how these old beliefs of I can't, I'm not worthy, I'm not talented enough, I need to wait to a certain point in my career, get someone's permission to do something. No, honey, you're the person to give your own permission. So you start to live in your true self-power, and you start to light up the room and lift people up and be your own light. So give me a comment below if you feel like your soul is showing you the way, if you see any signs, if you have resonated with any of these. I would love to know, and see you soon.